Well, how's it going, everybody? Been an awful long time, huh? That quote on the screen was poignant, to say the least, but it's actually one of my favorite quote/poems of all time. It's called No Leaders, Please, and you should check it out. But anyway, that's beside the point, sort of, because you're probably wondering exactly what's going on. Well, I'm back, and I'm doing things differently. That would be pretty funny if I just dropped this video and then pivoted and didn't upload a new series or anything. Not that I'd do that. Unless... Okay, think of this as an announcement video of sorts. I've got a couple things to run down, so stay tuned through the whole thing for some updates because I'm probably going to touch on something that you would like to know. First of all, the LPs and Pokemon games as a whole. During my time away, I realized that the channel sort of pigeonholed itself into this weird amalgamation of Pokemon-centric games, and I was either getting really pissed off at them or I just wasn't enjoying them, and it was kind of a slog to make videos about them. And that was absolutely not it for me. It made producing videos and just listening to my own voice kind of an absolute chore. I could just hear the lack of heart in it. And who really wants that? Not me. I truly probably haven't enjoyed a mainline game in the series in years, except for one. And the fan games were just getting way too frustrating and too time consuming for the very small amount of chunks of time that I have to even make these videos. You know, now it's commonplace for these videos to be 20 minutes at least. Back in the day when you were doing 10 minutes, you know, I'm that much of an old head. It was a little more understandable, but it would take 2 to 3 hours sometimes to make an episode that was 20 to 30 minutes because I'd have to edit down deaths, resets, you know, all that stuff. You know the deal. Reborn, I'm looking at you. So I think it's time to loosen things up and loosen myself up as well. And to be straight up, I don't think I'll be returning to Reborn. I just don't have the patience. Uncle Golden Bolt's getting too old for that now. And on the same topic, this is going to sound ultra dumb, but I feel like those challenge mode related high-end, high-energy, you gotta know a lot about the game, Pokemon games are just not for me anymore. Look, I feel like there's way too much stuff that I think about on a day-to-day basis just for work, for life, for these videos, for projects, for freelance stuff, for all that stuff to remember a lot of the intricacies that go on at high level, more competitive Pokemon. I forget about type matchups sometimes, and I know you guys were always leaving comments dude, how do you not know that? And I'd just be like, I don't know, I guess I just forgot, or you know, it's just not at the front of my brain anymore. You know, sometimes I forget what certain moves do. Sometimes I look at some of the newer Pokemon and I squint and I'm like, who or what are you? So, to that degree, I think it's for the best for me and my overall enjoyment of this channel for Pokemon to take a pretty serious backseat in the future here. Welcome to the GB History Channel. Today we'll be looking at a strange moment in history known as the Great Rehash Era. You see that creature over there? Well, that's a Golden Bolt, and he can be seen remaking similar series over and over again for fear that his channel will become irrelevant. And wouldn't you know it, despite his efforts, the channel did just that. Okay, wow! But he's right. Okay, so probably since 2017 or 2018, I've been doing games over again or randomized versions of the same game or, I don't know, stuff all like that. You've seen it. Honestly, that Explorers the Sky randomizer was probably the last one of those I actually liked sitting down to do, and it was incredibly frustrating. Pause here and see that the years of pent-up rage within the Golden Bolt creature have triggered a bit of a relapse. He deemed it unhealthy to keep redoing the same thing over and over again in the hopes that lightning would strike twice. Okay! Thank you for pausing my life to explain that and putting the, VCR overlay. What are you doing? Did all up in my shit? Anyway, yeah, he's right, though. Replaying the same games like that is something I don't really stand by anymore. And I don't think some of those series were honestly all that good. I look back at them and I'm like, you can just hear that I'm kind of slogging my way through. I don't know. It just didn't seem like there was heart, there was soul, there was life in that. And while I'm happy to have played DX, I did play Blue Rescue Team right beforehand, which was, you know, the same game.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you this breaking news.
Thank you, Charlie Tuna. Okay, next thing, Pokemafia, the game that I've been creating. So I think I announced it maybe 6 years ago, maybe a little more at this point. I don't know. But I absolutely did not start it practically back then. Probably obvious to tell. Absolutely way too premature to have announced it. I think I was just excited about the concept. And keep in mind that I announced it while being a full-time grad student, freelancer in audio, and was still trying to crank out these videos once a day. But I have been poking at it and experimenting over the years, changing engines, all that stuff. And I actually just buttoned up the whole story and have trial zones, like beta versions of the zones with events in order. But those zones kind of visually suck. Turns out I'm kind of bad at making maps. So I wanted to reach out to you. If you've got experience creating Pokemon Essentials tile sets maps, or just general maps using RPG Maker MV, please reach out to me. I'm generally moving away from Twitter, so Discord I think is going to be the best way. There's a link to that below. There's always going to be a link to Discord right below any video that I do from here on out. I'm mainly in need of 6 maximum size maps because a lot of the game is super open. But so as to not get too involved in something that's very niche to a very select amount of people, I'll just give a brief rundown of what each one kind of generally I'm in need of. I need a desert. I need a dark world, quote unquote, inspired by the Future of Darkness from Explorers. I need a level that's based inside of a train, which is clearly not present in the Pokemon Essentials tile set. So if you're interested, I will send that tile set that I'm using to you. I need one stormy, futuristic type city and one place that looks like this. So please get in contact with me if you're interested. I should mention as well, this will be fully compensated work. So if this is something I'm looking to take to a pretty high level. So if you've got actual experience or you know people who've got real experience and you can send a map that you've made to me that we can kind of start chatting, please do. This is fully compensated. And also, this project is kind of meant to be a swan song to that era of general, all the Let's Plays for me. It's kind of like the ultimate assembly of stories that started in Platinum, Explorer, Super, and so on. And I did refer to it as Pokemafia, as you can see, up to this point. But I will say now, I feel comfortable announcing that name doesn't seem like it fits anymore. The game has become something way more grand scale, so allow me to introduce you to its new name. That's right. Platline. It's a name I referred to the stories to myself, as well as amongst certain viewers on the channel and the events that would happen. I discuss it as the Platline. It's way more in line with the various storylines that are all coming together, but I don't want to leave it there. Let's talk playable cast and brief events to get you excited. Okay, first, Platline is going to follow 3 major factions. The first one's got all the main playable characters, and that is the Guild. There's also the Mafia, and a new group called the Citadelians. Let's talk about some of the major members of the Guild and your core team. First up, Gobo, you know him, you love him, and he's back in the main role once again and for the last time. He'll take up the leader position of the party, and since we last saw him, he's been on a new expedition working with a guild that now opposes some pretty serious, dangerous, high-level threats, the Mafia and the Citadelians. Resigned to being a pure adventurer now, Gobo's got a curious, polite nature, as he always has, with a strong will and a heart of gold. As this does borrow from standard RPG on top of Pokemon-related RPG, Gobo will be your character to excel in physical attack. Next up, Nigel. Can't have one without the other. Nigel's back as Gobo's right-hand man. He's got a strong sense of brotherhood after his previous adventures, though he's hesitant to work with some of the new guild recruits amidst the tensions in the air. He acts as Gobo's sense of reason and the team's sense of reason, and Nigel will be that character that excels in speed. And Card Gauge? Yep, that's right. The portal that Torterra took at the end of Platinum sent him right to the same beach Gobo's first adventure began on in the Explorers series. He's being trained now by Gobo and Nigel as a member of the guild, though certain guild members are skeptical of Card Gauge's intentions, since he does have a few ties with high-ranking members of the Mafia. We all know this. Card Gauge will serve as your big tank defensive party member. And one more major new character. Brand new to this game, it's Zira. So I'm not going to drop a whole bunch about her, aside from her being a new recruit to the guild. She's under the training of Gobo and Nigel alongside Card Gauge, but she has the ability to see aura and has a unique primordial variant of the Dimensional Scream. She also claims to be from a land called Protom. Zera's a pure normal type, as you can tell, but Gobo is going to quickly find out that the moves she has are impossible by her species, so it's going to be up to us to figure out what she's hiding. Zera is going to excel in special attack amongst the team, but her moveset will be completely and uniquely customizable in contrast to some of the other members of the team, and she's going to have access to moves that are exclusively not in the Skitty line. While these are your central core characters, there are going to be other characters that you encounter along the way from other Let's Plays and other series that are going to be playable as well, and then you can customize your party of 4. Here's some of them now. And of course, some old favorites from Explorers are going to make an appearance. Okay, a few Mafia members now. Of course, we've got Don Lino, the head of the crew. It's not clear what the Mafia's intentions are at first, but they find themselves in conflict with the guild often. Of course, there's Jigsaw as well, Don Lino's right-hand man. Jigsaw is actually dispatched to the guild's base camp directly, and will be present throughout most of the interactions between Gobo and the Mafia. And of course, the last faction, the Citadelians. While I'm not going to drop a whole bunch of information about these guys, I will say that they are hunting something, clearly, for some purpose, and they are in direct conflict with the Mafia, and then by extension, the guild. We've only seen 2 members of the Citadel so far in the Let's Plays, so I'll show them on screen now. So there are a couple little introductory nuggets about Platline. I don't want to go too hard on this because there are a lot of really exciting twists and turns that this thing is about to take. The game's going to be a mashup of traditional Mystery Dungeon style dungeon crawling with Zelda world exploring, as well as, standard Final Fantasy type top-down character customizing and so on. Shops, stories, side quests, all of it to be the final swan song to that era of Let's Plays. Okay, hey, this is turning to be more of a direct, I guess, like a Nintendo Direct by accident. Didn't mean for it to be, but I did want to share a few nuggets of some of the things that I'm excited about, maybe I'm inspired. I did just see the Nintendo HQ recently for my birthday. Anyway, I hate to leave this video with a bunch of semi-obscure updates kind of scattered, so I'm gonna break it down for you one more time. Number 1, LPs are back, but we're moving on from Pokemon. Of course, with the occasional exception. I just don't want to be pigeonholed to being a Pokemon-only channel. Number 2, no more rehashing old content. This is more of a me thing, but it is important for me to grow and change and to actually enjoy doing this without recycling stuff for fear of the channel deteriorating. And, I want this to just be what it was always designed to be, and that's just fun, dude. Just to have fun with it. Number 3, Pokemafia is now Platline, so please get in touch with me for a paid gig designing some of the larger maps I mentioned and a spot in the credits. Number 4, I'm kind of over Twitter, so please join the Discord. I'll be there a lot more regularly. We're going to have a lot more things going on inside the Discord, so please check out that link and let's go hang out. Number 5-ish, I guess? I don't want to be too declarative, but I do think that these next few years are going to be the last ones of the channel, mostly because I'm getting old. It's there's a new generation that keeps doing it, and I'm an old head at this point. So I kind of want to give way and just kind of let the scene grow. And there's no end date here. Probably several years of being back at it, but I do want to say that I do think that if we run into another instance where I have to take a full year off, I think that will be the last time. But let's not think about that right now. I just want to make you guys aware that these next few years of Golden Bolt LP, I think will be the last ones. And I think I did forget one thing, and honestly, probably the thing you were waiting for the most. I know I mentioned moving away from Pokemon on the channel a couple times. I mean, probably not entirely. Scarlet and Violet are a thing, but generally it won't be the main thing around here anymore. But I couldn't let myself off the hook that easily. Let's step into the official 2.0 era with one more.